G'day everyone. Proud to say Bar Karate is brought to you by Radix Nutrition, makers of the most technically comprehensive nutrition products that have ever existed. Unlock your potential with Radix. G'day listeners, welcome to Bar Karate, the Sailing Podcast. My name's Jordan Spencer and it's that time of the week where we get to hang out with some really cool sailors, a lot this week. But of course I have to share the mic with my two idiot mates. First off, Mr. Portugal himself, Brett Perry.
Greetings, exalted one.
BP.
Holy shitarama, Mr. Portugal, all right, my God. So go out last night to watch the rugby, as we're recording Sunday morning. Yeah. Just telling Bossy off air, I've come home and the whole fucking house is flooded.
Flooded.
So, yeah, beautiful. Water coming through the front doors. It was absolutely incredible last night here. Wow. The weather was just full on. Yeah.
Wow. Well, it's very topical discussion.
Lucky I didn't do what I normally do and take my shoes off at the front door.
Okay. Well, let's bring in the other bloke and we can continue this banter.
He had a voice that could make a wolverine purr.
Mr. Nick Bice.
Got a little flooded myself. Not with water, but opening day yesterday at the club at the CYC. Yes. So strapped in the whites, and they're not like they used to be though, BP. Remember the days like sliding off the roof and on the VB Express and all those sorts of things?
Oh, the VB Express. Well, you've got to sort of set a bit of a tone as well, though, you know?
No, exactly. So, official duties, Jordan. I had the whites on, had my little Commodore's hat on, all those sorts of things. And we had a bunch of special guests on the one and all, which moored in the Western Basin. And, had the sail pass.
The listeners being a square rigger.
Yep. Yes, correct. So make sure the yard arms are tucked away because no one really looks up when they come past on the sail pass. And quite a stiff northerly, which is unusual. So there's a couple of things I had to tick. One of them was the weather. I was a bit disappointed. No one actually unfurled the sails and did a 20-knot flyby. But fair enough. I guess it was quite a bit of wind, and then we went back to the club, did the official stuff, resunk the time capsule.
Oh, yes.
Yep, the time capsule, of which there's nothing in it, just one USB stick with everything on it.
Wow.
No, not really.
USB
technology, eh?
And CC the cat, club cat.
Is he in there?
Nah, not in there. But Bridget, the bar lady is.
Bridget's in there. Good on her. Yeah, no, she'll be right. She'll be 50 years. She'll be fine.
Yeah, another 25 years. So I reckon I've got probably another 25 of my tenure as Commodore. So I should be able to exhume it when I'm 70 years old.
Hey, Bridget, go and get me a beer.
Hey, boss, I've actually I can solve BP's problem. You know how his apartment's flooded. With all this weather and stuff. And he came home last night after watching the rugby. I can actually fix everything for BP from here in Australia.
Yes, do tell.
Would you do that? Because
so BP,
really pissing me off.
What happened is, your apartment's on the water there. You turned the wrong way. You turned right instead of left. And you walked into the ocean.
And went to sleep on the beach.
So just now that you're sobered back up, go the other side. You're good.
Oh,
that's what happened.
There's a door here. I didn't realize. I forgot I had to walk in through a door. No, to be honest with you, it was last night was horrendous here. It was absolutely horrendous. Yeah, no, full on.
Full on. Well, and that's really topical because what we've decided this week is to do a little bit of a focus in on the TJV, the Transat Jacques Vabre, which is the race going from Le Havre in France to Martinique in the Caribbean. And it's the double-handed year of French sailing. So each year they go, 1 year single-handed and this year's the double-handed and all the fleets. So you got the the old teams, the 50 in the cats, and then you got the 60s and the 40s in the monohulls. And they're about to start today. Like as we're recording this, they're just about to start in a couple of hours. But gee.
Oh, bum, 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 bum.
There's some stuff happening.
Big
Plenty.
news.
For those,
news.
If you're listening to this on a Monday morning, you've probably seen and heard all of this on the socials thus far. But as we are recording, the socials are blowing up in the sense that they've reconfigured everything for the start, which includes so the old teams are going, and we'll hear about that from one of our guests soon.
Yep.
The IMOCAs staying on the dock. They are not moving. Fair chance they'll be there for another 4 or 5 weeks, the way things are looking. The 50s, the multis, and the 40s, the monohulls, they are heading to Lorient. They're doing a bit of a pit stop to kind of get around Finisterre tonight, but that's still going to be ranking.
Wow.
So we're going to see plenty on. And who knows? Who knows? Will it only be the old teams that ever get that actually participate, or how long can they delay the start for? I'm not sure. I just saw Sam Goodchild give a little statement off the dock, basically saying he doesn't see anything even before next weekend.
No.
And I'm the same. I'm sitting here looking at this, and this is a carbon copy of the mini Transat in 2013, where they delayed. It's going to be a look for a window, and okay, everyone go. So they're all going to have their gear on every morning, standing at the dock waiting, and they're going to go, we're going. We've got a 20-minute window. Let's go.
It's my new favourite game. I'm on the predict win site, and I'm just moving.
All the time,
I'm moving the cursor over, just seeing how windy I can see it.
Yeah. It's interesting because I think Predict Win are starting to look for more and more colours they haven't found before, because it's just getting more and more intense.
Well, where do you go after dark grey, white, and then a white? After white, what is there? There's nothing after white.
I don't know.
Oh, yeah, what's that one there? So I'm looking at Thursday, and this is where they're just hanging a bit of a left-hand turn. 56 K-knots.
K-knot.
That's not even bloody gusting.
I know.
That's 56 constant.
That's a lot of wind.
Yeah, I got a tummy ache just thinking about it. Might do a nosedive.
No,
too scared. Don't want to go.
I've hurt my toe. Got a sore toe. I'm not going.
Yeah. But anyway, so there's been a lot of backwards and forwards. There's been a huge amount of conversations going on this week. We're talking to a lot of people over there, and this whole structure and watching the weather coming in, because we're looking at it ourselves and just going, this is going to be a nightmare. And if they did start a couple of days out, they're going, well, geez, the 40s are going to get absolutely nuked. And then it's literally race day there in France right now, and the things are changing as we're speaking. Like we're on a call to one of our guests, and things were changing as we were talking to them. So there's a lot going on. Bicey sort of gave you that breakdown, but it could all change. But at this stage, it's just the old teams are going to go. Just think about that, like into these huge storms, 2 blokes on 100-foot foiling trimarans that are just going to do 40-something knots. And then
I'm seasick thinking about it.
Yeah, it's going to be a challenge. Righto, lads. Now, it's time to look at the race from what you can see on the dock. And obviously, there's a lot to see. There's a lot of new boats. There's a lot of things happening. A lot of different classes, and so we need somebody that's really switched on. So we couldn't get him, but we ended up with the CEO of Harken, Mr. Bill Goggins. How are you, bud?
Nice
one. Thanks for the trash talk to get us going right away.
Well, Bill, it's 5:30 a.m. where we are. 5 o'clock where Jordan is. He's been up at 4 practicing that.
No. How are you, mate? It's good to see you. We love chatting to you, so we're looking forward to this conversation.
Yeah, well, your text, Jordan, was the first thing that arrived on my phone as I landed yesterday, just coming back from France. So I'm back in Pewaukee, but I think we've expand the globe here with time zones for this interview.
Absolutely, we do.
Geez, I feel bad now, mate, because I didn't realize that you'd gone home. So, because I thought you and Pete were still roaming around, but it get a bit windy there, get blown home.
Yeah, there was a lot of talk around the docks if they're gonna postpone. That's sort of the expectation. I don't know, I'm not a weather expert, but you can certainly tell it's going to be blowing dogs off chains for a while. I had breakfast with Armel Lecleoche, and he was saying, they've got some of the most refined routings, and they just said, I'm not so sure if we're going to be starting on Sunday, so that would be an expectation.
Well, I'm sitting here on the racetrack. I could just about see him come down the coast if they do come down here, and I can tell you right now, I wouldn't want to be out there. No way.
Mate, you wouldn't be able to see all the sand in your eyes. It's so windy. All the crabs blowing up.
And I'm on the 7th story. Mate.
Exactly.
So with the TJV, Bill, one of the things that's really cool is, we've got 4 different classes on the start lines. There's 4 starts, but different times, but there's 4 different classes: the Ultims, the 50s, the 60s, and the 40s. 2 classes of multi-holes and 2 classes of monoholes. It's from your perspective, you've got this huge business that supports sailing's everything for your business. Walking the docks must be quite interesting for you, given some of the amazing boats that we're starting to see these days. The development in the 40s with how far they've gone in the scour pathway, and the Ultims, the 60s. There's so many 60s coming out. I'm intrigued what you see when you walk. You and Pete, because you and Pete Harken were walking up the docks. What were you seeing that jumped out at you?
First was just the scope. It's so impressive to see how many. These are all, bespoke custom boats, and just to see that kind of a range of 45, 44 40s, class 40s, and then 40 Ultims, half a dozen Ocean 50s, and then these, unbelievable 100-footers, the Ultims, 5 of those. It was just critical mass all in one spot. I think it's really hats off to you guys not being from France and recognizing how important this is. The culture in that offshore racing space in the Brittany area is so big. And, as outsiders looking in, and also just as our team, we've got a great French team that are deeply involved. There's so much development, and it's distributed really well, because every offshore sailor that's well prepared knows how all these systems work. So there's such a deep bench of understanding of not just the systems that we're supplying in Harken, but all across the board. It's really technical people, and you could just tell that it's the sea is in their veins. It's pretty cool.
Yeah,
I guess super interesting, as you've mentioned from your side, because if we start at the 40s, you've got something which is purchases a lot of rope, like no hydraulics or anything. And then we move fully into the old teams, where you're talking hydraulics, really heavy loads, like 160, 180 ton meters of riding moments type thing. So it's the full scope. It's the perfect test bed.
Yeah, it's interesting. You look at the 40s, they're not pedestal driven boats, and then you get up to the Imokas, they're all pedestal driven now. And where, let's see, there's 40 boats since the last Vendée. I'm going to guess there was half the fleet are probably new builds. Maybe it's a little less than that, maybe 15 or so. And more than half the fleet have all new systems. So they've all been refit, whether it be going to foils and, powered up new winch systems. It's just an amazing development class when you look at what the Imokas have been doing. And then the coach roofs, closed coach roofs, I learned a lot about that, just what it feels like sitting in those cockpits and sailing with no actual external visibility, how that works. And then the technical advantages and the potential trade-offs with that you can tell they've done a ton of thinking about it. It's going to be pretty interesting to see how that all plays through.
As the CEO of Harken, obviously you've got your hands on your fingers on all the stuff that's going through. There must be some ideas that come through that that's just outlandish, and then when you see it actually on a boat and goes, that looks like it's going to work. Have you got a bit of that going on?
I mean, every day. I mean, I remember sitting at Mets a few years ago, and we put out something that was in the Dame Award, which was a power meter sprocket. Okay, so this is just like you'd see it puts how much torque. It measures how much torque you put on the pedestal, and it's a real tip of the iceberg kind of rarity, this sort of thing. But Armel was saying, "Hey, thanks for doing that because now I can manage my fitness, and I not just, I can understand what my outputs are, and I've got to." If I'm going to set up for a jibe, how long does it take to jibe a Ultim? 45 minutes.
Yeah.
There's a lot of grinding. So just being able to measure your heart rate and measure what kind of output you've got through something, really esoteric and kind of unique and rare like that, through to, I think the spirit of the class 40s is so great because it's so many people that have just graduated to this, big league sailing. And, you can see the design. There's actually fewer restrictions in the hull forms for the 40s than in the 60s.
Yeah.
And, Jordan's oft quoted A4 paper, it's definitely some
mirror.
I would just say A4 piece of paper and keep it square. That's sort of what
don't even bend it, Jordan. Keep it flat.
Yeah. But there's a max beam restriction on the bows for the Amokas, so they're putting them at max now with the new designs. But it's just so cool to see all the things that they've developed there. And then you get to the Ultims, and those things are just spaceships. They've got so much going on. It's unbelievable. It's really cool.
Can you imagine some of those Ultims just two up? Like, can you imagine heading out into the conditions that are coming, just two people on that 100-foot trimaran like that? I can't even comprehend it.
No.
Anyway,
mind you, I can't comprehend 60. To think about it, 40 is probably a bit hard. How's your father at the moment with this with the weather condition?
Yeah.
It's a pretty poor comparison, but you've got the 40s, and you're going to be like in the weather coming. I'd definitely much rather be in an old team. So whether that's like you're in the mini minor versus a foiling bus that starts flying.
Yeah.
Sergeant Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club band.
It's not as though you're going to be sitting back in the couch, but it's geez, there'd be some nerves. Could you pick up the nerves on the dock, Bill? Like as we're leading the last couple of days, or they're still kind of.
Yeah, but I mean, when I was there, I mean, they're such professional teams. I was spending most of the time with the sort of the captains of the boats. A lot of the sailors were still resting. Just a few of them were starting to roll in. I left a couple of days ago.
Yep.
But everybody there, there's definitely a level of professionalism. All the talk was whether are they going to postpone. There was definitely a lot of chat about the weather. So should be interesting. I mean, even if you look at the modeling after the first couple of days, it's not like it lightens up. It just kind of keeps pulsing from the northwest.
Yep.
It's going to be blowing in the 40s at some point in another. So pretty cool.
So, we talk about, and you discuss it yourself with the French scene, and for an equipment manufacturer such as yourself, like you're I guess you're encompassing right across the sport. And by the way, I've just had a business idea for you. A product idea. Do you guys spend a lot of time working with these teams, doing development stuff, or how's the feedback? Does it come from them to you, or you to them, or is it shared? How does it work?
Yeah, I mean, for us, we fully depend on our French team.
Yeah, right.
And my style is always kind of an inverted pyramid. I'm trying to work for the other people, and we just, in a sense, our engineering teams in Italy that are doing the winch systems and then the hardware systems in Pewaukee, we're of service to our team that are on the front lines based in La Rochelle, and they're on a daily basis, inside and out, up in Lorient, with all the projects, making sure things are sorted out. And unless you make that kind of a commitment, you're probably not going to be as successful in terms of just being able to listen and react and respond.
Yeah. So once the race starts, do you get nervous? Like when you look at this sort of stuff, do you get nervous looking at some of these boats thinking, I hope nothing breaks? Like say if you're a mast manufacturer, for example, would you be worried about that sort of stuff?
it's about preparation, right?
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it's really it's dependent on the level of preparation the teams have at this point. And we had our group there. It wasn't just Peter and me roaming the docks. We had our qualified winch technicians there, taking things apart, double checking, and just being of service. But there's always risk involved with any business. But at the same time, it's really about collaborating to make sure that the people that understand how they're going to, go into an event like this are prepared. I did hear, one of the most prepared boats and one of the more impressive layouts, Massif, they've chosen to, not because of conditions, but because of some health situation, they're not going to be doing the complete race. I think Charlie's sick. So I think what I heard is they're going to start and then withdraw because they need that for qualification for the Vendée Globe.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Interesting, isn't it?
Yeah. Really, you've got to have respect for these sailors to be able to kind of look in the belly of the beast and be prepared for that.
From a supplier point of view, Bill, one of the, having worked closely with you guys for many years, that whole thing about not letting your product be the reason the boat doesn't leave the dock is a massive one. And all the suppliers out there now and all these professional teams will all pretty much put their boat on the start line in the best possible condition ever. And that must have been pretty mind-boggling, the preparation that you saw and the condition of the boats. I was on the dock in Lorient only a few weeks ago and just ducking and weaving between deck spreaders on IMOCAs, but walking amongst the 40s, like you'd imagine even some of the smaller programs, the boats are pristine.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. That's a really good insight, Boise, which is I think it's in their DNA to just be constantly preparing. I mean, the word prepared is that word for a reason. And similarly, we've got our French team just as committed. I think that's kind of what you need just to make sure things are sorted.
Mm.
I know Alex Thompson he said at one point, I fully respect him. He's such a great sailor, and just the humility of, he's had some incidents throughout his career, but he was willing to admit, look in the mirror. Sometimes it's just about making sure every I's dotted and T's crossed. I think those were his words. And so, I think that's important to be able to recognize, the humility to just be able to really make sure that you're prepared.
Mm. All right. Well, so you've got a team of experts there. You've walked the dock. If you're on the race start, you're about to hop on the race start, right? You just walk down, you can choose a boat. Which boat are you going to go and jump on? It can be any of the classes, any of the boats. Which boat are you heading to?
The committee boat.
That's the best answer.
I thought it was going to be the VIP boat. That's what I thought you were going to say.
Yeah. I think I've got an agreement with Susan, my wife, that at least till the kids are all fully flown, I'm not doing anything like that if I were even to have wished. So no, I mean, it's a question. You just go to the boat by boat, and one's sexier than the next.
Yeah, right.
So the L teams are so cool. I definitely want to check that box of being able to get out and go for a ride on one of those at some point. It's just so epic. So cool.
Yeah.
I mean, just fanboying, that's the great joy of our sport. It doesn't matter what your role in the sport, you can fanboy at every level. I mean, you've got a special ticket that I think could help you get onto most boats. Do you ever think, oh, you know what, I wouldn't mind going for a sail on an AC boat today, or I wouldn't mind jumping on the F50s, or, as you said, the old team. Do you ever pull the ticket out, or are you just too professional?
I'm still waiting in line for my X2 ride, but
that's happening. Don't worry, that's happening.
Yeah, someone, BP.
Yeah.
No, well, I think there's one going to Canada, isn't there?
Yep.
Yeah.
If I were to put something like this on,
the Baccarati. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Hang on,
we got it.
What's he getting? Yeah. Baccarati hoodie. Oh, mate, you'll get plenty of rides then. Maybe a few punches in the nose. And
I love it, Bill. Everyone's put their Baccarati hoodies on. I love it.
I had to take mine off because I got my heater on in the house.
I love it, Bill. That's cool, man.
I think this is the only one in North America because they had to like smuggle it in from Grantley.
Customs is a bugger, but I tell you, bribery works.
Yeah. So, all right, can you give us some tips? I know you can't, but can you?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Open the book up, Bill. Open it up.
Yeah. If you're making the odds.
Oh, you Aussies, you're always gambling. You're on the pump. I mean, I think one thing that's unique is you look at starting at the class 40s. There's a lot of parity, which is cool. I think there's a good group that could be the winners, and I'm not going to have anybody. I'm truthfully not well informed enough to say who's going to really stand out. But there was a lot of talk that there's, a quarter of the fleet that could be right up there on the podium.
Yeah. That's the class, though, isn't it? That's sort of the class. That's what it breeds. There's a little bit less, let's say, I mean, there's still technology and hull shapes and things like that, but there's a little bit less going on.
I wonder,
and that brings the sailors together. Then you move to the 60s, then there's that design and technology sort of element. So yeah, I
wonder with the smaller boats, like with the 40, like it's more physically, you're able to attack it a bit more, because everything's a little bit smaller, so you can make a few more changes. You can be a bit more aggressive in the way you sail the boat. I wonder. That's and
still tough.
Oh yeah, incredibly tough.
You lose that grinding sort of action. That's probably that's a hard one.
Yeah. What happens if your winch handle falls overboard?
Good. Go back to dinghy days and stand out on the side and bend your knees and pull it out.
How's BP? Yeah, you just tough it out, and the person with the company buy a new one. Just buy a new one. I love it. I love it. Yeah. Okay, so the 40s, a big bunch.
So I'd say, gosh, looking at the Imokas. I mean, Chiral is a good form boat. I think one thing that was really cool, just a little insight, they're all stern two, so you're looking transom after transom.
Yeah.
One insight that's interesting is I think that the class has agreed to not allow for elevators to be added to the rudders. This happened while I was over the last couple of days. You may have talked about that. But you look at Chiral, I mean, incredibly high aspect ratio rudders, but they're on 30-40 degree angles, so they're generating lift on their fixed rudder as a flat
and they're in the middle of, and they're very towards the middle of the boat.
Yeah, that's what I think. That's what Bill's saying. They've become a lifting form
right in the middle of the boat,
lifting platform in a way because of that angle. Is that what you're saying?
Exactly. Yeah, and so I don't have enough sense for the whole fleet, but you could say they were the most on a horizontal plane to generate, canted for sure, just to generate stability and lift for the balance on the main foil.
Yeah,
I think that's
pickup.
Yeah, because you can see the boats are just kind of riding, like popping a wheelie on a dirt bike all the time, right? And that that rule allowance, which but the class made their decisions on what they want to do with the elevators. Some of it must have to do with the fact that there's 40 just fully new established systems right now. To make a change like that would be,
it's an expensive change.
Yeah. I saw a lot of interesting things with the Imokas where you could see teams where you'd share tooling to create some efficiency, where they'll build two boats off the same mold, which is, I think, pretty interesting.
I thought you were going to say what, a winch plinth?
Exactly. Nice.
I love
it. But I think, in terms of the form boats with the Ultims, the three that have been discussed would be Bank Pop and obviously Gitana and I'm drawing a blank on the blue boat, SVR.
SVR, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Those three, along with the others, I would say Sebastian Joss and Amal Leclerc are pretty experienced. Seb was in Pewaukee. He came wearing a different team's shirt at the time in preparation. And it was interesting because you see these guys, the commitment they've got to make sure they understand everything. They wanted to learn everything about the hydraulic system so that if something goes bang in the night, they'll understand the basics, at least to be dangerous until they can get to.
Did you tell Seb he needs to take something more than a Leatherman with him?
He's a backup in case it goes over with the winch handle, right?
Where we were doing the Volvo, he told us on the Vendée, all he took was a Leatherman. If it needed more than that, wasn't worth fixing. This was many years ago, but not these days because it's so professionally well equipped, these boats. But no, but you're right, though, to understand the systems with only 2 people on board is super important, and splitting those roles as well would be quite a big thing between the teams and their skill sets as well.
Yeah.
Very cool. Cool. All right, mate.
One last fun thing was thinking about the coach groups. I was asking what's the other benefit other than obviously being able to, get up and make a sail change or trims without having to get in your gear. The other benefit, seeing the coach roof fully closed, it gives you more buoyancy. So if, they all have to pass the buoyancy rule with if you're turtled to rewrite themselves. And so you can go with a smaller bulb, which helps now these boats are all foiling. So that was pretty clever.
Right. That's a good one.
Yeah, that's interesting. I hadn't thought about that. Creates a little upside down boat.
Oh, you're on fire, Bill. You've spotted a couple of key things there, mate. No wonder you're the CEO. You're smart.
I thought it was just good looking. But
it's still important to look good.
That's it.
Exactly.
I love it. All right, mate. We won't hold you up anymore. We appreciate you sort of giving those insights, and you absolutely nailed it. So we'll look forward with interest. I hope they don't. Well, they probably will delay, but I hope they don't. I just want to see the race.
Well,
start.
I mean, we'll be talking about this, but I just dropped the pin in the middle of the Bay of Biscay, and it asked me on Predictwin what to call it, and I called it the Bay of Certain Death.
Yeah.
I'm not seeing anything less than 30 knots for a good 3 days.
No.
Yeah.
And you know what that means in the Bay of Biscay?
It's ugly.
Well,
ugly.
Yeah. Add another 20 on top of that.
And yeah, well, there's nothing short of 40 out the front of my house right now.
Yeah.
Wow. Cool, bud. All right.
Beauty, Bill. Thanks, mate.
Righto.
Oh, boys, I love chatting to Bill, but I forgot to give him the business idea.
Oh, mate, we forgot to give him. How about us?
You're the ideas man. That's why we love you. You're the ideas man.
Well, actually, I've always thought about setting up a business where I just sell business ideas, and I take a little percentage because I have about 1 billion ideas a day.
Let me guess. High vis flano.
Yeah, that was a cool one. That was a long time ago. That one. But yeah, that still hasn't come out, so it's definitely. I was in a.
Well, see, one of the things you got to watch when you do release these ideas on Bar Karate, people are going to copy you. You got to be careful.
Yeah, I should have worn my high vis flano for this show.
Yeah. So what, like everyone's doing all this training on the pedestals these days, trying to get fit. And, everyone's going to the gym, and very few gyms have got the upright pedestals for training your upper body. It's a good thing. Harken should release one. It's the perfect thing because they've got all the technology right there.
Ever brought a Harken pedestal? Or been responsible for the budget that does?
Yeah. Hey, why has my gym membership gone to $77 a month instead of $30?
I may have given one away.
But it is top of the line. It's a premium product.
Premium product.
Yeah, exactly. So
I
know where to find them.
Yeah, well, go. Yeah, there's a few boats lying around. Go cut them off.
On the roundabout at
and Alicante. Should be stripped by now. That boat.
Yeah, there's one in Villas Events as well.
Yeah.
Down in Valencia.
No, but Bill was onto it though. Like it was good to talk to him because he's obviously talking directly to all the boat captains, as they said. Him and Pete roaming around and the whole Harken team, and that observation about the rudders. I was looking at it. I think we've all been looking at those rudders getting with, where their heads are right together, as you said, Bice. And then the more they put sweep into them or cant into those rudders, is it cant if you cant it to the side? I guess it is. Yeah, that's cant.
Yeah.
it actually does act as a little bit of a lift foil. And so that's a good spot. And then, he also talked about the coach house roof and the buoyancy thing. But, the eye that he runs over there, because of course, there's a lot of French manufacturers there as well. A lot of equipment on those boats, particularly French manufacturers. So his eye would be pretty switched on for seeing a lot of things. I reckon you'll have some good conversations with him in a couple of weeks' time.
Here. Well, maybe or maybe not, because the boats will probably still be on the dock.
Yeah,
as far as the 60s are concerned. But the Gitana, the old teams would have turned and burned by then. That's my prediction. So
down in the trades.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we touch on that.
Touch on that in a minute.
Yeah. But from the perspective of the technology of the boats, it is, we talked about how the class is quite strong, and I can't remember what we talked about, whether it was before or after or during the interview. So we got to start recording what goes on after. But anyway, bang
on about it.
The development of the class, the 60, I think we talked about it during. It's such a strong class, and the 40s are the same. And they're able to produce such strong classes of ocean racing, and it's growing and growing and growing. And I mean, we've got to take a lesson from it, like the more, because that's the whole reason bar karate exists. It's to grow the sport. We want more people sailing. And are there less people sailing? Is it our fault if there's less people sailing?
Well, I think let's actually combine the two.
Right.
The French have got all the boats.
Right.
We've got all the crews.
Oh, yeah.
So just sail them fully crewed.
Yeah.
More
people sailing.
But that's not their
But pretty phenomenal. There's literally 48 active campaigns going in the Omoka world at the minute.
Yeah, it's just
there. And in this particular race, there's our next guest will just touch on it. But there's some big things up for grabs here, like the qualification for the Vendée, all those sorts of things. It's the pressure's on from that point of view.
It is. Yeah. She's super cool. All right, boys, let's move on to our next one. Well, there's been a lot of discussion with everyone we've had so far, so why don't we go and chat to one of our favourite blokes who's all over the weather and is doing the weather outing for one of the old teams, Sci-Fi, Simon Fisher. Welcome back to Barkarati, mate. What's this, 900th visit?
G'day, guys. Yeah, good to be back.
most listens for sure.
Oh, easy.
Yeah. Well surpasses my standard joke that the second most listened to episode.
Yeah.
Sci-Fi's definitely got most.
Yeah. I love it.
Thanks, guys.
Mate, you're in Lorient. You've have any of the houses blown away there yet?
Most of the garden furniture went last night. I'm hold up here just outside of Lorient, out in the countryside, and we had some big squall lines come through last night, which will be sort of making their way up to Le Havre this morning. And the garden furniture was scattered all over the garden. There's been plenty of rain in the last few days, and fair to say, plenty going on in Le Havre this morning. I think there's a bit of fever on the dock. So a lot of the work we've been doing to prepare in the weather house. I'm not going to call it the rooting house.
The rooting house. I'm not sure of the direct translation, but I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, you have to.
Yeah, here in our weather house in Lorient. Yeah, having sort of been working hard on the routes. It sounds like for the old teams, there's going to be a waypoint put in somewhere close to Madeira, which will just hopefully keep the boats away from the worst of the weather. But it's still going to be very fresh today for them. We're looking at 30 to 35 at the start.
Fuck! I've got a tummy ache just thinking. I've got a tummy ache just thinking about it. Sci-Fi. It's stressful just looking at it on the computer. I think gust potential was up at 55 knots, and I mean they've got some big boats with two guys on to manoeuvre around some tight areas, getting clear of the Cherbourg Peninsula. So for those guys who are leaving today, it's going to be full on.
Full on indeed.
But the other news hot off the press is the Amoca fleet are going to not start because they're worried about boats. Probably in the case of the slower boats, the Amocas are going to not start because they're worried about the slower boats not making it around Finisterre before the second big system comes in.
Yeah, right.
Second front, which again looks strong. It looks like they'd have 10 hours of plus 30 to 40 knots to get through the thing, and then gusts of over 50 on the other side, not counting the school front itself. And for those guys, there's nowhere where they can fit a fleet of 40 boats, so they're going to be stuck in Le Havre for a while, waiting for a window. And then the class 40 and the Ocean 50s, they are going to take the start, but then race to Lorient. And I guess I'll look at a restart later in the week. There might be an option to sneak out on Friday, maybe.
Wow!
But
so
they're all going to get.
So it's just going to be the old teams just gone. Two poor blokes.
Yeah. So it's just the old teams racing to Martinique at this stage.
Wow, mate.
It's a sponsor's dream.
It's a sponsor's dream. Weather-driven sport. Sci-fi. You're. Yeah, well, I don't know how many laps of the planet you've done now. Is it like 7 or something you're up to?
6, I think.
I was at Sci-Fi's house I was counting the spheres, the globes around there. But there's a couple of gold ones.
The point I'm getting to is it's normally you on the boat, right? You normally, at this stage, you're normally getting your gear ready. You're about to go on the boat. The nerves are kicking in. Are you at this particular moment just going, I'm pretty happy with the choice I've made for this trip? Not going.
Oh yeah, yeah. I've been looking at the weather of the week. I don't know how many routes I've run, and throughout, I'm not, pleased with my decision to be on the shore for this one. That's certainly. But actually, you feel a bit of nerves though. Obviously, it's with these old teams, it's a big responsibility helping the guys and routing them down the course. So we're frantically looking at everything and every update we can get to make sure we can make their life as easy as possible on the boat, because we know today's going to be full on with a lot of breeze, big squalls, which Murphy's Law probably means they're going to come through right as you're looking to tacking or getting through a gap or something like that.
Exactly.
So we're certainly going to have to be on our toes.
Charles generally isn't a man of many words, but I'd say he'd be extra quiet this morning.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I continually impressed with his confidence. He knows the boat very well, and he's not too fazed by the conditions. It's impressive actually how he goes about it and how he processes it all. So it'd be good to see. Then they know their strengths, so hopefully we can sort of play to them with the routing.
Yeah,
mate, it's Bicey always describes the Bay of Biscay as the Bay of certain death. What makes it so tough?
I mean, for these races starting in November, you get all the sort of transition into the autumn systems, and you can get a lot of weather. The fronts are very strong. There's a lot of in this instance, there's a lot of the jet stream south, and there's a lot of cold air coming down, but giving a lot of power into these systems. And if you get caught in one of those in Biscay, you've really got nowhere to run.
Yep.
And added to which, if you get pushed into Visser, then you've got to get out through Finisterre. The sea state can be pretty nasty as well.
Yep.
Even when you're sailing in not such as extreme conditions, the sea state on the continental shelf out in Biscay can be
pretty horrendous.
Yeah, pretty challenging at times. So it's certainly a tough place to get through. Keeping in all the work we've done this week, whether it's looking at the Amoca stuff or the Ultim stuff or whatever, it's always been very cautious about trying to get out and get some longitude west of Finisterre, just because it just makes everything a little bit easier and safer.
What about going long term? The trades, are they fairly stable, or there's a little bit of funniness going on with them?
I mean, for us in the old teams, I think that the Yours High is going to be quite a challenge. Due to the strength of all these systems coming through to the north, it obviously squashes that high pressure and pushes it south. So there is a danger you're in a situation where you're trying to get south through the ridge and it's kind of traveling with you.
Yeah.
So that's been a big challenge for our routing. For the other classes, which are now not going, it looked like less of an issue. and quite a nice transition into the trade winds. But yeah, I mean, the way things have been shaping up, the trade winds hopefully should be reasonable, and actually the crossing to the doldrums not too bad either, because those trade winds are kind of pushed further south, which helps wipe the doldrums out a bit. And then there's another interesting sort of aspect of the routing in this race is they're racing to a sort of group of rocks, islands, sort of north of Fernando de Noronha, which is just at 1 degree north, basically Sao Pedro, Sao Paulo.
Yeah,
and they're sort of so close to the exit of the doldrums. There's not much room for adjustment once you're through. So you're almost sort of looking to get on the latitude of the waypoint before you go into the doldrums and sort of making your shortest course through. So that sort of changes the strategy a little bit.
Right.
And have they set any other waypoints in the course yet? Or what's the is it just pretty much just hammer down? You go around those islands.
For the other teams, it looks like they're gonna send us, east of Madeira. And that's like hot off the press in the last 60 minutes. So
okay,
once I'm on the call from you blokes, it's going to be looking hard at those routes, and we've got a pretty good understanding of how that affects the short term. But just looking at the long term and the plan there is going to be the next thing on our plate today. And then, but then from there, they race to Sao Pedro, Sao Paulo, and then out to Ascension Island, and then a run back down to Martinique. So
right,
sort of two big VMG legs, which will be tactically quite interesting in the southeasterly trades. Yeah, initially.
Yeah, she's an interesting little course, and so I mean it's interesting from the spectator's perspective that you're saying, these changes are coming through, like on the day, and you guys are having to do all this weather routing, and I'm interested, because for all the other teams, all the routing that they've done it's irrelevant.
Out the window.
It's all out the window, so it could almost be quite frustrating at times.
Yeah, I guess it's tough. Everyone puts a lot of work and a lot of energy into to making all this stuff happen, and then it changes. For us sitting here right now, we've been stressing for days over how we're going to manage the routes, how far west we need to go, and all of that, and then in a very short time, all of that's changed, and we're looking at a different answer. But that's the challenge. And then obviously it's tough for the Amoka guys. They're not going, having done all this work to prepare, and
not sure when they're going to go. Yeah, hurry up and wait. One of my favourites.
Yeah. On your, obviously we don't want to ask you what your routing's going to be because that's obviously strategic. But can you tell us timing? Like what sort of timing you're thinking you get there in Martinique at this stage, or it's all changing now?
No, I think it's going to be about a 2-week race.
Yep.
And they actually can't. I mean, the goal of the race organisation is always to have everybody kind of arriving roughly the same time. So there was always chat about everyone getting there in about 2 weeks, and then the potential to like add extra waypoints to sort of manage that. But I suspect that based on the current timing we've got and the situation we're now in, I can't see them adding too much more after we round Pedro.
Hey, a 2-week race on an Ultim. That's about 15,000 miles, whatever.
I was just going to say that, like. The others could be still sitting there 2 weeks' time. Like the old teams might get down to Martinique and be heading back before the others start heading down. Like it could be. It's possible the way it's those.
Yeah. No. It's it's every chance that the old teams have got Tour de Mons starting in January, so they're going to be eager to turn and burn at the other end.
Yeah,
because they've got a couple of chances to go out and check everything, and then they're off around the world single-handed. So, I suspect the old teams could be well on their way back while everyone else is still trying to race out there.
Amazing.
No, Charles just do a little handbrakey turn, kick off old mate, and get a few guys on board, and back he goes.
Yeah,
I love it.
Yeah, and I guess it's interesting for the Amokas because a lot of those guys are sort of wrestling for Vendée qualification, and they've got obviously. They've got to start this race for qualification points, and some guys need miles and the single-handed, qualification stuff for the route on the way back. So there's plenty going on in French sailing politics, I'm sure.
I might even go the other way. I'd just take off, turn right, go up around the top of the UK, and just get a little slingshot on the way down.
That's not a bad. I wonder if anyone's run that route. With considering, before we jump off, considering everything, you've got to throw everything into the calculations. What about the whales and stuff? Do you actually guys go and start thinking about that and looking at that? Because, once you come down along Portugal coast there's a few of them floating around. They're probably not going to catch an Ultim, I'm guessing, but, does that consider something you consider?
Yeah, it's certainly something to get looks at. And actually, Damien Foxall, sort of, while he was working with our team at 11th Hour Racing, was doing a lot of work with the Marine Mammal Advisory Group. And they do a lot of, studies on where the main areas are, where there needs to be extra caution. We saw in the ocean race, they added some areas in as exclusion zones for that purpose.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
We haven't got to get as such for this race, but they've certainly worked pretty hard to give us as much information as possible. So that's all something we sort of try and factor in. And they're following on from the ocean race, Damien has been working really hard on and sort of implementing this hazard button. So if someone does have an incident where they hit something, it gets instantly reported to the rest of the fleet.
Right.
And
that's a good call.
And then it just sort of helps either heighten awareness or gives people a choice to avoid an area depending on what's going on. Yeah, so definitely. I mean, obviously, in these old teams, hitting something with a foil is game over. So it's certainly something we need as much care as possible with.
Yeah.
Cool.
Oh, nice, mate. Well, we're going to let you get back to how you're going to get these boys around Madeira. But
yeah.
But thanks for your time.
And everything ahead of me.
Yeah. No, mate. Awesome. Thanks for your time. And we'll be in touch in the coming days.
Perfect. Yeah. I'll give you an update on the way.
All right.
Cheers, Cypher. Thanks, mate.
Nice one, guys. Good to catch up. Take care.
Yeah.
See you, bud.
Safest place in the Transat Jacques Vabre, in the rooting house.
In the rooting house.
So
what,
double, triple,
I find it pretty
triple,
safe too.
Triple meaning in Europe, you get away with, it's the weather house, it's the routing house, it's all about plotting the course. In America, it's about the barracking house. We're rooting for you,
barracking,
right?
Oh, yeah.
We're going for you. In Australia, well. Yep. You know what I'm talking about. We're going for
a route.
That's a gardening reference.
Yes, gardening, yes.
When Don Burke planted someone in the backyard, rosemary in the backyard.
Planted rosemary.
I can't wait till we get taken off the air like that. The police will knock on our door.
Don't worry, that's the least of Don Burke's problem.
There's some Canadian
for our international guest that's
Belgian
kind of related to Rolf Harris.
Belgian person doing a search on Don Burke. I love it.
All right.
Interesting discussion. He's good.
Very
sci-fi.
interesting.
He was really good to give us all that info, I thought.
Yeah, and I mean, so he's been there a week in prep for this, and looking at the weather for quite some time, and then last minute they're off. It's cranking. They changed the course a little bit to go around Madeira. So that's it's bloody yacht racing, eh? Who would have thought? Who would have thought?
Crazy.
Yeah. But good insight there, specifically actually about the whales. A good question there in the end there, Jordan, about what is done there.
Well done, Jay.
A bit of work being done on the side as well in regards to that. Like he's mentioned, though, if there's any sort of, not even animal life, but any sort of carnage or anything floating, that UFOs that they might hit, it's game over for boats like that.
Yeah, so, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's cool.
But fortunately, they're not quite like the Swiss Army knife flying through the water like a IMOCA boat on the old teams. But yeah. Anyway, they'll be having I mention it, but it just makes me feel a bit crook in the guts.
Oh well, as we said off air, I've got a sore toe. I'm not going.
Yeah. Well, I wonder. Remember that famous shot around Ushant of the Fuji trimaran.
Yeah.
I wonder if we ever going to see something like that. Could today be the
it's
day?
highly likely. I mean, I'm watching this.
Yeah.
I'm sitting here, as I said at the the opening of the show. I'm sitting here watching this all unfold. It's like
new favourite game.
It's like I'm on the grandstand. It's like I'm in the grandstand watching, waiting, and hopefully they decide to come in close. Not that they will, but you know what I mean. They should. They actually should make my house a mark of the course.
Well, you should have offered up a brisket. It's pretty simple.
I should have. That's what I should do. Hey, they haven't left yet. Hey, everyone, it's still open.
Yeah, the duck rice, the Portuguese duck rice. Could drop on it.
I forgot what I was going to talk about now. I think
there is a little harbour here at Villa de Conde, so just I can see it from my house, so it's all good. Come in here. You've got a problem, I'll look after you.
I thought it was interesting because I wanted to ask that question about, because you're always calling the Bay of Biscay the Bay of certain death. And I mean, he talked about the systems, and, it is important to understand that the sea state can just be quite horrible quite quickly.
Yeah.
And, it's all lee shore basically every which way except straight into the eye of the storm that's coming at you. So, and there's not that many escapes. So it can be quite a difficult. And I just wanted to sort of raise that for those who haven't gone across, and that includes me. I haven't sailed through there, so it is quite challenging. And of course, Finisterre is, you've got to get around because that's where there's a lot of challenges going around there. So it will be interesting. I reckon, and sci-fi really highlighted it, that doing the manoeuvres on those old teams.
Oh.
And then, if you
they're already setting up for their second tack, and they haven't even left the dock yet.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly right. When those squalls hit. Yeah. But anyway, for all the competitors in the TJV, be safe. Best of luck.
Yep.
Enjoy the next week or two sitting on the French coastline because I think you might be there for a while. BP has put the brisket on so you can go for a wander down to Portugal and find him. And then when you do...
Villa de Conde.
I reckon it's a real chance the old teams will be in Martinique before anyone leaves. There's a very much a chance.
Yeah. I'll put a lazy dollar on it.
Lazy
dollar. All right, let's open up the book.
Yeah, I'll put a lazy dollar on it.
No worries.
All right, what are we going to offer?
Well, nothing. We're not allowed to promote gambling.
Yep.
Because you're gambling with your life.
That's right, you are. Think about what you could spend your money on.
Let's move on. Let's move on. Someone has to be the grown-up listeners. All right, well...
Go on, Bicey, you can do that.
Well, just before we move on to other events...
I've had my grown-up. I did my grown-up piece yesterday. That's my one per year.
I'll just remind our listeners, of course, that if you are looking to go on adventures like we've talked about with the TJV, our friends at Radix Nutrition are there for you. You get your explore performance through health. Radix is an incredible supporter of all elite sport, and because of their comprehensive
life in general.
Yeah, they use a complete nutritional design using RNA targets to get the recommended dietary intake across 100%, 100 plus nutrients deemed essential and beneficial for a healthy metabolism. RNA. We should talk about that one. It's on the episode. And but if you do decide to run and jump onto the Radix Nutrition website, remember, if you place an order, you just throw the Bar Karate discount code in, the word Bar Karate, and you're off and away. And
one word, BARKARATE.
There you go. Very cool. Continuing on with our discussion then, of course, into club events. Big one for our South Americans, the South Americans, the Pan Am Games going from 20 October to 5 November in Santiago. So that is a big one for all the participants, the punters, the players. A lot of different classes, some of the unique classes that they have, but in Santiago. And it's Viva la Emoción. Oh, I can't. It's all in.
Give it to us.
No, it's all in Spanish. It just dropped off because it's they've got Calendario Deportivo, Planifica. Anyway, just for all the people down there competing in that, it's underway. So Pan Am Games, it's not just sailing, it's a whole bunch of stuff. But yeah, so just thought I'd mention that one just for the participants in that. The other event that is going on starts as of tomorrow. The J70 World Champs, St. Petersburg Yacht Club, Florida. This whole week coming up.
You'd hate to go to the wrong St. Petersburg, wouldn't you? Pack up your J70 and you're like, yep, we're off to St. Petersburg. Shit, wrong one.
Wrong one.
Florida, you dickhead.
Anyway.
Told you to turn right at Albuquerque.
J70 Worlds are underway, and it's there's plenty going on, so it'll be worth a watch. So if you want to check that out, and obviously beautiful Florida, and it can be there can be some sandbars in the little river system there, aren't there, boss?
Here. Yes, where we
we've cooked a propeller or two on a coach boat there, I think.
Yeah,
nothing to see.
Uncharted.
It was an uncharted sandbar.
Yeah, it was just a couple of big sticks near it.
I love it.
With green and red on it.
No,
Anyway.
well, I mean, they were on the other side of us, BP. Anyway, don't worry about it.
Yeah. No, don't worry about it. Move on. Nothing to see here.
Okay, so Jack Lloyd, Listener of the Week. Remember each month.
Hang on. Can I just add something in?
Yeah, of
talking about
course.
events
Of
before
course,
you move on?
Of course. Yeah.
One that's going under the radar.
What's
the
that?
Global Solo Challenge starts today.
Oh, does it? Yes.
Yes.
Is
our
that
mate
in the little
Ronald A.
570s?
Ronald A. Simpson in his Open 50. He's off around the world.
Yep.
Oh, there you go. Ronnie,
So that's a bit of an interesting one for those who want to keep an eye on that one. I said I'll give him a shout out.
He's
so
a
there
fan
you go,
of the
Ronald.
show.
He's a fan of the show. He's downloaded all 230 episodes for his trip around the world.
Shit, I hope he doesn't fall asleep and run into something.
I love it.
Well, no, but good luck to everyone in that. They're coming out of La Coruña, so they're a little bit further south for them.
Yeah.
Which is a bit easier.
Yeah.
So I mean, at the moment here we've sort of got about 15 knots, so it's not too bad. But another one coming, but they should get going today. So good luck to them.
Yeah, cool.
Well done.
Cool. So again, Jack Lloyd, Listener of the Week. Remember, each month we will award a $200 Aussie voucher thanks to our friends at Vycobi for the best entry. So send us your thoughts at cheers@barkarate.com if you want to be part of it. Email is the best. We do get a few come through. I did the first one by
Bill Goggins. I mean, yeah.
I did it because of the joke. Obviously, Bill Goggins. What did he send? He sent us something good. I can't remember. Oh, he
said he wants to come on the show.
Yeah. No. So Bill's a fantastic bloke. For those who've never met him, he is genuinely a fantastic guy. He wrote in, "Thanks for letting me join on the fun today for the TJV feature. It's going to be a wild race with the wind conditions. They're looking at epic for sure. I want to reconnect you guys with Santiago Lang. At this email, I think he would be a perfect fit for another interview chat. I was fortunate enough to sail with him when he joined us at Pewaukee as our mystery guest in the eScow Blue Chip Championship on our 100th anniversary year. Santi has been adopted by all of us here because he's such a good man. With him now entering a new chapter after a 43-year Olympic path, I'm sure I have a lot of perspective to share. Leave it to you guys to see when a good time. See you in a couple of weeks in Amsterdam." That's a really great email because, yes, I think was it episode 17 or something?
From memory.
Yeah, from
episode
memory.
7. Yeah, October 23.
Yeah, there you go.
From memory.
Yeah, there you go. So anyway, it's a great tip. Obviously, I'm really hoping Bill does win the monthly prize and we can send him a bunch of Vycobi stuff. But we'll see. Yes, BP's having a little silent chuckle there. But anyway, thanks, Bill. That's a lovely one. The other one was Grant Newman, I think.
Grant Newman, who came in.
Oh, Mumo.
Would you like me to take this one?
Yeah, that'll be good.
So this is from Grant. Gents, first, love the podcast. Been spreading it around the sailing community here in the Puget Sound.
I think that's what
Seattle,
I love the most about though.
Washington. That's enough. If you don't know where that is, it's on the left side of the US, only a couple of miles south of northern Australia. So Grant's one of us. Love your work, Grant.
He's a bloody beauty. Mumo.
And
good old Mumo.
Yeah.
G'day, Mumo.
Exactly. So and he sent in a couple of vids, which is basically the what we saw during the week, and I think everyone's seen it. But old mate Wing dinging around gets taken out by a whale.
This has got to be talked about.
So many. And then
what is going on?
Will Burkett shared it. He shared the video. We've had heaps of people.
The amount of people that said
it's hilarious.
It was pretty cool. But
it's attempted murder.
The whales should know. It's not like the way they you're gonna wing ding it to Sydney.
No.
Save up your breeches, bros.
Just come on, bros.
Save them up.
Don't go getting parched. Don't go getting parched this early.
No teeth.
It's interesting though because there's
so many. Do you want a chip? Do you want a chip, bro? No, can't eat chips, bro. I eat plankton.
Beach dads, bro.
I'm a bit parched.
Yeah, for those who don't get what we're talking about, just Google beach dads. You'll love it.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, but thanks for everyone sending this because there was a ton of you sending in that thing, but it was pretty funny on the news and given. Obviously, sailing and whales are having a real struggle at the moment. There's definitely opportunity for a scanner or something to.
I just think the whales are pissed off. I just think they're just we're giving all this bloody sort of airtime to the killer whales and the sunfish.
Yeah, I got it.
Now the whales will get their head.
Yeah, they're just going. What
get their hind up. Yeah.
Hey.
Give us a go.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Turtles will be after us next.
Yeah. The East Coast low, man. It's the East Coast current.
there are a lot of whales back in the ocean, which is one good thing about it. So that they're definitely. I've heard stories that they're back to as many whales as ever been in the ocean, but I don't know how anyone can verify that one. But anyway, it's good to see them back. But be safe out there. And thanks to everyone for sending in some letters. We'll be awarding our monthly listener next week. Another $200 voucher thanks to Vycobi going down. Ole, ole, ole,
ole. Hot, hot, hot. It's hot time with Bice.
Can't wait till we do this live. With the fourth leg, we'll just get Harry in to just do that bit.
Oh, do the voice.
I think
It's hot.
I think we've got an invitation. I think we've got an invitation at the Harken party, Bicey.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, we'll do that.
Boys, believe it or not, with all the harangue going on with the TJV, there's another race that took place.
Oh, just a little one.
The Rolex Middle Sea race.
That's it.
And that took place during the week. Quite a long.
What a result!
I must admit, it was like they didn't move for the first 2 days.
Yeah.
It's quite common once you get up into that bloody zone in behind Sicily there.
Yeah, exactly.
If it is a bit of a high some sort of summer session, that
so
is notorious.
A bit of a mixed bag, I must say.
Absolutely.
Let's start with the line honours, monohull line honours. Leopard 3, a season campaigner with Chris Sherlock.
Unbelievable.
A boat which has had quite a bit of modification done in the last 12 months or so. They ripped a whole lot of weight out of it, put in a new stick, which obviously helped them get across the line first. But they so
where'd they get that from?
Yeah, no, it's a black one. But yeah, they took the line honours. And then if we have a look at the IRC results, won by Bullet, the Wally 93.
Unbelievable.
Fantastic effort. But they're like the first big boat. And then the rest are just mini fellas.
Your mini fellas.
So, how about, second place, Red Ruby.
The Red Rubes. So
Red Rube's got in there.
Sunfast 3,300. Then we had Zephyr.
Great result.
Sunfast 3,300. So, and then
going, don't you?
Then Leopard was fourth. Yeah, I know. You should have had next two in it. BP.
Yep.
Oh well.
Yep.
So boys, I got an Instagram message because I put that little video up on Instagram of one of the boats coming past the fort there with the lights, and it was just a beautiful video, which I quite liked. The RORC shared, and I throw it up there. And our mate Will Burkhardt, he sent in a note saying, absolute beautiful, beaut video. Got to say, a Far X2 would have won.
Woulda, coulda, shoulda.
Woulda, coulda, shoulda.
Yeah.
Woulda, coulda, shoulda. That's what I'm gonna call my X2. Woulda, coulda, shoulda.
Must be nice owning an X2. Oof.
Must be nice.
I own a lot of them.
Lost touch with the common man.
What was interesting, I did find, gents.
Yeah.
Who we would think be at the traditionally. Well, specifically in the Rolex races this year with the Sydney Hobart, the Fastnet, we've seen the 52s at the top of the fleet. Whereas at this point in time, we've basically the 52s. I think they led by Caro.
Yeah, I was just going to say down in 18th or something.
Yeah, exactly. So that's quite a ways off the pace. So it was big boats, little boats. And then the 52s that were kind of
big gap in the middle somewhere.
Big gapperoni. Yeah.
Good old Stromboli.
But
good old Stromboli.
Having a few mates on both Caro and Warrior One, having a look at those two bastards going hard at it the whole way around.
Yeah,
no sleep would have been had anywhere.
No.
They're a stone's throw from each other for the whole race until Caro slipped away at the end.
Love it.
So had some good racing.
Sailing's the winner.
Good.
Sailing is the winner.
Now,
I'm going to hand it back to you on this one, BP, for the Mini Transat Ep2.
Yes, well, that's gotten away, hasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, well, sorry, I kind of just dropped that on you.
That's right. I've got the website loaded on my phone.
All our preparation.
He's ready to go.
I actually just said I loaded the website on my phone a second ago, so I've done well.
Yeah.
No, it is. It's away. It's they're off. They're heading over to the other side. Only early days, but
so for the listeners, obviously, if you're not across the Mini Transat, they go to the Canaries. So leg one's to the Canaries,
that's right.
and
they
start
rest up, they get themselves organised,
and then head to Guadeloupe, I think.
Guadeloupe, that's right. So they're off and racing. We've got the Protos and the series. So I mean, we've banged on them about them for a while. The Protos are the sort of any sort of configuration you want inside the size range, and the series of the more standard boats. So they're off and racing, and as it stands at the moment, we've got Italy, France in the Protos, so that's good. Sorry, in the series, and then it's looking good. So it's going to be interesting to watch them develop.
Keeping a close eye on that.
But if you're in a little 6.5 meter boat, just going full noise.
Keep an eye out for an Ultim coming past at some point in time.
That's exactly right.
Hope you can speak French.
Yes.
But, I mean...
And don't think you're going to get a response if you call starboard.
They're going to come screaming down across on the trades. I mean, it's going to be a ton of fun for these guys. And, of course, they don't have any of their technology on the boat. They've got radios basically and a few other little things. So she will be full bore. The old teams will be quite scary when they do come flying past, but they'll also be having an absolute ball. Got the sails out and just start racing downwind. It's getting wet.
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah, they're down in the trades, enjoying it.
Beautiful. Now, gents, has the ultimate reverse curse
I feel we have
played a part.
Yeah, I think we have, and I think we've got to be careful from now on offering this up. I think
the reverse curse is too strong.
All right,
it's too strong. It's too powerful.
The reverse curse. Let's talk about it.
Yeah.
Aussies would appreciate this. There's been 3 contributors recognised with an Australian Sailing Life memberships this week. 1, Matt Allen, friend of the show. 2, Sarah Kenny, friend of the show. 3, David Tillett, friend of the show. So, yeah, fancy that, eh?
Well,
3 of them.
People who aren't aware of the power of the reverse curse could say that it's all the years and effort they've put into sailing and the sport of sailing and all that volunteering.
No, it's got nothing to do with them.
No, and all that time, they put years and years.
Not at all.
People could say that though, if they didn't understand.
No, they won't. If they don't understand.
Yeah, but I think we can confidently say within the next 24 hours, we'll have had a phone call from Matt, Sarah, and David thanking us.
Congratulating us.
Yeah, congratulating us. That's right.
Yeah.
But amazing achievements, like genuinely amazing achievements.
No,
life membership and well deserved right across.
And it is, yes.
Yeah, kind of related to Australian sailing, gents. This week, Friday night, is the Australian Sailing Awards being held at the National Maritime Museum in Sydney.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be, I've got to be an adult again. I think I've used my one scope up this year.
Do you have to wear your whites?
No, I won't be wearing the whites. But SA is actually well represented, including the Cruising Yacht Club South Australia, as well as the Dockside Festival.
Yes.
So one Harrison Fisher, the fourth leg, and myself will be attending with our Dockside hats on. But if the CYC also get up as Club of the Year, well, you never know. I'll be jumping on that bandwagon as well.
You're going to have to go over there with like a
100%.
special suitcase of gear when you get your prizes. You're going to have your Dockside T-shirt, your Dockside hat. You're going to have a bar karate T-shirt.
Absolutely.
And then your whites. You're going to be busy changing all the time. You're going to be like going in, like a model on a catwalk.
Now, for any listeners out there who will be attending, I'm trying to bring a +1. So Australian Sailing, do be aware, by the name of Neil Cox. So,
oh dear.
Arm in arm. Back together again.
And then
the two cousins.
Yeah, the cousins, exactly. Our mothers and sisters. Literally had to tell a customs agent that once. I get this phone call and Coxie's like, "We're cousins. Our mothers and sisters. We're cousins." And he goes, and I get this phone call. "Yeah, I've just got your cousin Neil here," and we were going to the cricket in England, and I was already in England, and our mothers are cousins. Oh, well, you didn't say that.
Yeah. Oh dear. Cool.
Beauty.
All right,
boys.
Righto.
That's it.
Great episode. Well done.
Beauty.
Best of luck, everyone competing, everyone in the middle of the ocean at the moment.
Be safe out there, everyone. Look after each other.
Good luck to Ronald A. Simpson.
BP still in the middle of the ocean. Remember, he's just
good. Look after yourself out there, BP.
Well, I wondered what these things in my pocket were. They're my keys. I'm going to see if they fit a door around here somewhere.
Yeah. Why are you putting your waders on? Oh, just got to go to the lounge room, turn the TV off.
Going to go get a cup of coffee.
Oh, dear.
All right, move on.
See you, listeners. All right, thanks for listening, everyone. Thanks. Have a great week. Remember, of course, you can go to Radix Nutrition and stock up using the code word BARKARATE for the discount and save yourself 10% off your purchase price and compete at the fullest of your capabilities. Like we do.